We live in a small, beautiful country. Unfortunately, it is not always a peaceful place to live and is often a hub of controversy. My name is Adele, and I live on Kibbutz Nirim in the Western Negev on the border with the Gaza Strip. This past summer, our communities were bloody battlefields. Our homes were places where, rather than feeling safe, we felt fear. Families with children were refugees from their homes for over 50 days. Many of them had to wander from one home to another, to friends and relatives, and even kind strangers around the country who were willing to open their homes to them. For those of us who stayed in the region, it was a summer of running to safe rooms and deafening noises of war. It was a summer of death. I understand only too well the need to communicate with people who don't live in this region and don't understand what our realities are here. Over the summer, I became one of the go-to people in the English language in our region for foreign correspondents who wanted to bring the story of this war back to their audiences. For me personally, one of the things that helped me cope with the challenging and, in the end, tragic ordeals I had to deal with was writing about them. By depicting the events I was witnessing and undergoing, I was able to be of service to my community and my country, as well as to process the unimaginable realities for myself. All of my students live and/or learn in this region. They all experienced these traumas as well. Some of them remained in their homes with the fear of rocket fire and infiltration by tunnels. Others experienced the lack of the security of knowing where they would sleep the following night. Still others live outside of the rocket range, but they all have friends whose families were in the line of fire. In each of the grades in our 6-year school, there is a child who either lost a father or whose father lost his limbs. Each of the students in our school have their own story to tell. Because if things like this can happen to children in their homes at any time, it's important to be able to enable them to write about it so the world can read about it.
Oh my god, רגע, אני חייב לראות מה קורה שם. לא, זיו, לא עכשיו.
לא עכשיו, תחכה שלי.
איפה זה הגיע? מי התקשר אליהם רגע? וואי.
One of the places I wrote this summer was on CNN iReport. Anyone can open an account with iReports and write reports that go online. A certain percentage of them are vetted, which means that they're recommended by CNN, getting them wider coverage. I wanted my students to write up their stories and post them where others could read and even respond, but mainly understand what a teenager's life is like here on the border, from their own perspective, in their own words. The students did not need to open an account. I opened a dedicated account for this project and posted their reports for them. Opening an account is straightforward. You go to ireport.cnn.com and sign up with a screen name, your email address, and a password. Once you've opened your account, you must confirm your membership, and then you should edit your profile. In this case, I described the purpose of this project rather than my bio. At this time, there are 16 reports that have been uploaded. I did not call it a composition on purpose. I didn't want it to seem like just another school assignment in English. In order for their work to be on a level where it could be respectably published for others to read, they needed to learn to undergo process writing, which means writing their report, sharing it with me for editing, and then rewriting. They had to share it with me on Google Docs, where I gave feedback, which they had to alter or correct each time until I felt it was good enough to post. Each student was asked to add a photo, although not all did, and send me parental permission for their writing and pictures to be posted on CNN. Not all of them wrote, and some do not agree to have their reports published, which I respect. Here are a few of the responses written on my students' reports. Nicely done and clearly expressed. Good on him. I'd be interested in his thoughts about why the mortars and rockets are aimed at the kibbutz and how to change that. Many thanks, Ido, for sharing your experience. I hope you've managed to re-find your inner strength. And finally, Naama, your story, we hope, will be seen by many. The media shares the stories of officials and governments, but too infrequently do we hear the voices of the average citizen and even less so of the youth. You all should continue to communicate on what life has been like growing up under the constant threat of rockets and mortars. May peace come to you soon. In my mind, these authentic responses to their writing from readers who were moved by their words is more valuable than any grade that I could give them for their writing. This is meaningful learning. So your task, I'll ask you to think of a project for your students to write about authentically for readers in English who do not know them. Make the topic meaningful. Choose a topic that is close to their hearts, something they care deeply about. It doesn't have to be with the country's security situation in mind. It can be about other teenage concerns as well. In the next session, we'll talk more about this tool, and you'll be asked to use CNN iReports or another tool to open up a platform in which to show that project. Think also about if and how you want to assess it. Thank you.